Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Mirandasya Gyanam Janam Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahi Dadati Swapadam Tika He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Vinabandhu Jagapati Gopeta Gopika Kanta Radha Namaste Takta Kanchana Gauravi Radhe Purnavadeshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Priye Namo Mahavanamaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Krishna Maha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Vatara Bhaktatyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Vanchakalpatarudyasya Kripa Sindhu Arivacha Atitanam Bhavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Vinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravai Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtavyadikarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasana Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Good morning, everyone. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 3, and the text is 23. Please, I am requesting your blessings because I don't speak English very well, and I'm learning the philosophy. I'm learning to be a nice devotee, so please bless me to be useful to speak some nice words here for you. And we are reading the chapter about the marriage of Shukanya and Shayavana Muni. Text repeat. Shasham Sapitre Tat Sarvam Vanyo Rupa Bilambanam Vishmita Paramaprita Tanyam Parisha Swaje Shasham Sapitre Tat Sarvam Vayorupa Bilambanam Vishmita Paramapritas Talayam Parisha Swaje
Shashamsa Pitreta Sarva Vayorupa Bilambhana Vishmita Paramaprita Tanaya Parishasvaye
Shashamsa Pitreta Sarva Vayorupa Bilambhanam Vishmita Paramaprita Sanayam Parishasvache
Shashamsa Pitreta Sarva Vayorupa Bilambhanam Vishmita Paramaprita Sanayam Parishasvache
Shashamsa Pitreta Sarva Vayorupa Bilambhanam Vishmita Paramapritas Tanayam Parishasvate.
Translation word by word. Shasamsa,
Shakamsa,
she described.
she described
Pitre,
Pitre
unto her father.
unto her father,
Tat, death.
death,
Sarvam,
Sarvam,
everything.
everything,
Vayaha,
Vayaha,
of the change of age.
for the change of age,
Rupa,
Rupa,
and of beauty.
and of beauty,
Abilambanam,
Abilambanam,
how there was achievement by her husband.
Oh, there was
was achievement by her
achievement by a husband.
Vishmita,
Vishmita,
being surprised.
being surprised,
Paramapritaha,
Paramapritaha,
was extremely pleased.
was extremely pleased.
Tanayam,
Tanayam,
unto his daughter.
Unto his daughter.
Parishasvaje,
Parishasvaje,
embraced with pleasure.
embraced with pleasure.
Translation. Thus, Shukanya explained how her husband had received the beautiful body of a young man. When the king heard this, he was very surprised, and in great pleasure he embraced his beloved daughter. I will repeat. Thus, Shukanya explained how her husband had received the beautiful body of a young man. When the king heard this, he was very surprised, and in great pleasure he embraced his beloved daughter. Well, I will continue read of the verse. Somena, because this verse there is no purport. I will read of the verses. Somenaya janam viram graham somasya chagrahit asoma purapi avishnos chayavanasvena tijaha. Chavana Muni, by his own prowess, enabled King Shariati to perform the Soma Yagya. The Muni offered a full pot of Soma Rasa to the Ashwini Kumaras, although they were unfit to drink it. Antuntam adade brajam sadyo manur abashrita sa vashram stamayamasa bhujam indrasya bhargavaha. King Indra, being perturbed and angry, wants to kill Chayavana Muni, and therefore he impetuously took up his thunderbolt. But Chayavana Muni, by his powers, paralyzed Indra's arms that held the thunderbolt. Avam janam stata sarve jagram samasya char vishno pajisa ikritat kurvam samahritya bahishkrito. Although the Ashwini Kumaras were only physicians and were therefore excluded from drinking Soma Rasa in sacrifice, the demigods agreed to allow them henceforth to drink it. Utana bahir adnato buri shena iti trayaha sharyate abhavam putra anatad revato bhavat. King Sharyati begot 3 sons named Uttanabahi, Anartha, and Burishena. From Anartha came the son named Revata. Soanta samudre nagari vinir maya kushastali astito bhukta visharyam anartahim arinidama tasya putra satam jage kukudmi jeshtam uttamam. O Maharaj Parikshit, subduer of enemies, this Revata constructed a kingdom known as Kushastali in the depths of the ocean. There he lived and ruled such tracts of land as Anartha, etc. He had 100 very nice sons, of whom the eldest was Kakudni. Kakudmi revatim kanyam swam adaya hivum gata udya Shayavaram Pariprashtum Brahmalukam Apadritam. Taking his old daughter, Revati, Kakudni went to Lord Brahma in Brahmaloka, which is transcendental to the three modes of material nature, and inquired about a husband for her. Purport. By his right grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada aqui. It appears that Brahmaloka, the abode of Lord Brahma, is also transcendental above the three modes of material nature. Apavidam. So here, this. So please, thank you very much for inviting me to be here. I'm very grateful and happy to be here with you. I'm sorry that I don't speak in French. I'm learning, I promise. I try to speak in English. So this chapter is about the marriage of Sukanya and Shayavana Muni. And Shayavana Muni is very famous in the Ayurvedic medicine. In India, for example, maybe someone of you have heard about the Chyawanprash tonic. Someone heard about this? Chyawanprash tonic. Yeah, it's very famous in there, not in India, everywhere. Yeah, it's medicine. And this Chyawanprash is good for give us strong immunity, strength, good health, especially for immune system. And the story tells that Shayavana Muni was doing so many austerities and penances in his ashram in the forest that he became very weak. Then the Ashwini Kumaras appear in this lake nearby his ashram and invite Shayavana Muni to come there to become young, to retake again his youthful and his strength. So it says that these Ashwini Kumaras, these physicians, these doctors, celestial physicians, they came from the Swargaloka, and they did this potion, this preparation, this tonic for Shayavana, and he became very strong and very healthy. Here in the Bhagavatam, in this part, it don't mention it, but I make a research about this, what the origin of this Chyawanprash. Then I discovered that it comes from the Puranas story. So it's very old receipt, Ayurvedic receipt. If you take a look in the ingredients, there's so many herbs like amla, ghee, and so many ingredients, which is very, very good for health. And so, because in the beginning of the chapter, because we are reading that the daughter, Sukanya, the daughter of the king, the king. Do you remember the name of the king? King? Huh? Shariati. King Shariati. Yeah. The daughter of the king was give a walk in the forest, and he found the ashram of the Shayavana Muni, but she just became curious because she saw this interesting thing, these luminous small beings in one hole in the earth, and she cut with a thorn these beings. In that moment, it starts to appear blood, and consequently, the soldiers of the king, of the name of the king, again, Shariati. The soldiers of the king Shariati start to have problems, sick problem with disease, because they stop to pass urine and evacuate. So the king Shariati became very, very worried of this, And the daughter of the king, Shukanya, she was thinking, oh, I commit something wrong. I did something wrong. And then she told for her father that she saw this strange thing and she did this and this consequently happens. And the story tells that actually this being there was Shayavana Muni, which was with his mystical powers meditating. He took another form, because the mystical yogis, they can develop different siddhis and they can assume different forms. So he commits such offense, but it was not her intention, but she did this, and she became very worried, and she spoke with his father, King Sharyati, to please help. How can I do? How can we correct this problem? How can we ask forgiveness and apologize for King Sharyati, for Shravana Muni? So at that time, in the Vedic times, the sages, not just in the Vedic times now today, more in the Vedic times, the sages, they are very, very much respected, and the kings, they used to hear the yogis and the brahmanas and the priests because they were sages. They have this vision, because of the mystical vision, mystical powers, etc. The kings, they used to come to them to ask. So the king came to Shayavana Muni and to ask apologize, he offered his daughter, Sukanya, which was very, very beautiful and young, very, very young. And the Shayavana Muni was very old man, Shayavana Muni. And he was, as I told before, he was weak, and because so many austerities and penances. And because Shukanya was so chaste and good educated girl and daughter of the king, she accepted immediately to marriage with Shayavana Muni, although he was old, invalid, and ugly, and etc. But Shayavana Muni, he had this idea to offer to the king to do this sacrifice, this Somarasa sacrifice, to offer this Somarasa for the Ashwini Kumaras, which are celestial beings. As we know, Somarasa is a drink of immortality. Everyone who takes Somarasa becomes immortal and very healthy, and the demigods used to take Somarasa, as Lord Indra and other demigods in Swargalok. But the Ashwini Kumaras, they are not considered demigods as Indra, Lord Indra and other demigods, but they are just physicians, so they are not allowed to take the Somarasa drink. So King Indra becomes very, very angry with him. Then he starts to invoke his arm, his thunderbolt. And when he was to punish the King Sharyati, the arm of King Indra became paralyzed, became stopped. I cannot do nothing. So because of the power of Shayavana Muni, who was so powerful that he stopped the arm of King Indra. This is such a power of Shayavana Muni. Can you imagine the power of this yogi? He can stop the arm of Lord Indra. He was very, very powerful. And then the demigods, they commit an exception. They accept to give the Somarasa for the Ashwini Kumaras. They make this concession to them. And because Shayavana Muni became very grateful that the Ashwini Kumaras gave to him a youth, powerful body, young body. Then he made this Somarasa Yagya to offer Somarasa for the Ashwini Kumars. It was like they are obliged one each other to please one each other. This is the Vedic culture. No? Everyone is very grateful and pleased, and everyone wants to be servant and to make something good for others. So it's very beautiful that the king, he gave his old daughter for Shayavana Muni. Shayavana Muni accept. But when, in that moment, when Shayavana Muni went out of the lake, he was different. And the daughter, Kakudmi, she not recognized, Sukanya, she not recognized his husband. So she took shelter in the Ashwini Kumaras because she was very chaste, very chaste. And she asked, where is my husband? I not recognize him. And because he was completely different. And so she dedicated her life to the sage, to Shayavana Muni. And so this chapter is explaining about this. Now these verses that I read now was explaining about this pastime, this story. And so many other stories of sages happen in the Bhagavatam with this, like for example Kardama Muni, Devahuti Mataji. Also Kardama Muni was very powerful sage, ascetic, and he accepted a young girl as daughter, as wife. And so the sages, they have this vision, this power, and they are dedicated to make meditation. Now, it was in other previous ages, so they could do this at that time. So here in this continuing story of the Bhagavatam, history of the Bhagavatam, explains the continuity of the sons of this king, Sharyati, and how one time one of these sons came to Brahmaloka. And as we know, Brahmaloka is beyond our planet, is in the topmost situated region of this material universe. And because it's the abode of Lord Brahma, and because Lord Brahma is the transcendent, is the engineer, cosmic engineering and architecture of this material creation, Lord Brahma, it says that he is beyond the material modes of nature. Pavitram, as say here. And Lord Brahma, and says that it seems that this abode, Brahma Loka, it's beyond the influence of the three modes of the material nature. As we know that we are here, try to practice Bhakti Yoga, wake up in the morning, taking bath, attending Mangalarti, chanting rounds, to force us to have a good influence of the Sattva Guna, living in the nature, nearby the forest. We are getting good vibration here because we are practicing Bhakti Yoga. Still, we are influenced by the moods. Some day we feel better, we feel more energized. Another day we feel not so good, we feel more tamasic. Other day we feel more rajasic. So we are always having our ups and downs in our practice, in our life, because this is the nature of this material world, about the influence of the moods of nature. And this topic is always is telling in the Vedas. As Krishna says, Daivihesha gunamai mama maya durataya mang evadi prapadete mayametam tarantite. That this material energy, Daivihesha Guna. This divine energy is my energy. Is the gunas, and the qualities is my energy, Krishna says. Daivihesha Guna Mama Maya Drataya is my energy, Mama Maya. But those who knows that I am the controller of this energy, they cannot be influenced. They can be beyond of the influence of this energy. So Krishna promised to us to bring us beyond of this material, temporary situation world if we surrender to Him. And just by surrender to Him, just by practicing the process to remember Him always, we are able to become transcendent of the material nature someday. At least in Sattva Guna mood, which is the better situation in this material world. The demigods, they are situated in Sattva Guna, no? Because they are very virtuous. The asuras, or the other low beings, they are more influenced by tamas, rajas, because they are not remembering Krishna. They are more situated in more low consciousness platform. So, and as we can, I would like to remember here, for example, we have the story of King Indrajumna, who decided to go to Brahma Loka to invite Lord Brahma to come for the installation of Jagannath in Jagannath Puri in Satya Yuga. So it was many, many years ago. And Indrajumna Maharaj, as here other kings, it seems that they don't have information of the relativeness of the time, that the time is relative. No? They just, no, let's go there, let's go in Brahma Loka. They take the flight, the spacecraft, and the Vimana, they travel there, and then they spend there some time, and then when they return, everything changed, you know, everything changed. So here in the continuation of the story, you speak about that Lord King Indrajumna came there to ask, please Lord Brahma, come for the installation of Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. And this was very fast, very some moment to speak with Lord Brahma. But when Indrajumna Maharaj returns, everything was completely changed because of the influence of the eternal impetuous time, no? The time, so Krishna says, I am the time, no? The destroyer of the worlds. So the time never stops, and the nature of this material world is that we are constantly changing. Our body is changing. We can see ourselves in the mirror someday, another day we are different. We have seems like different face and different. Then the time is changing. Then so here it happens the same. You know, this king. He came there to speak with Lord Brahma, to ask, to offer his daughter to marry for someone in this celestial planet, as Brahma Loka, superior planets. And Brahma was, in that moment, Brahma was watching a presentation, a concert, musical concert. And when the king arrived there, he just stopped and was waiting for Lord to speak with, have a darshan with Lord Brahma. And when finished the presentation, Lord Brahma spoke with him, and he offered his daughter to marry with them, and with the planning to return for the Earth planet. But Lord Brahma started to laugh. I'm sorry, but when you return, everything is changed. Nothing will be there again, as you know. Your descendants, your friends, your family, everything is different. It's not more like this. So and Lord Brahma suggests to offer, to offer his daughter to marry with Lord Baladev. Lord Baladev. So I mentioned here two cases that these kings, because it's very interesting to reflect about that. They have such a mystical power, they have such technology to go in the Brahma Loka, for example, but they are not completely conscious or aware that the time is relative. That when we travel in the space, we travel on the time. Even in this material planet, the time is relative. In France now we are here 8:45. For example, now in Portugal it's 7:45, and so on, and we are different. So the time, this subject matter of the time is constant on the Vedas. And Lord Krishna says, Nasato vidyate bhavo nabhavo vidyate sataha upayora pidristam twas tvanayos tatvadarshi vihi. For those who have seen the truth, the tatvadarshi vihi, they know the difference between who is temporary and eternal. Nasato vidyate bhavo. There's no continuity to his temporary. Nabhavo vidyate sataha. There's no session. For those he is eternal. So the soul is eternal, then the body, the material nature is temporary. But the sages, the devotees, the mystic yogis, the transcendentalists, because they know the nature of this material, because they know Krishna, they know the nature of this material world, and they are aware of this fact. But still it happens that we forget something. As for example here, the relativeness of the time. Of these two kings, Indradyumna Maharaj and this king, son of Shayati Muni, King Shariati. So, I would like to say also, yesterday, Lochananda Prabhu was speaking about the importance of the Vedic culture and that the woman was protected, and the chastity of the woman, etc. And how at that time, because they have so good education, everyone are following this, and everyone they are so living in harmony and peace. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that when the woman is not properly protected, there will be unnecessary offspring, unwanted offspring, unwanted generations. The importance of the protect the woman. And everyone, of course, also the Brahmanas needs to be protected. This is the Vedic culture. If there's no protection of Brahmanas and the cows, there's no Vedic culture. If there's no Vedic culture, there is chaotic situation. Wars, and injustice, violence, and so many other terrible things. So the importance to protect the Brahmanas, because the Brahmanas, they are cultivating spiritual knowledge to educate the society. And the importance to protect the cows, not just the cows, but all the animals, especially the cows, because they can give us the blessing of the milk. And yes, so now, for example, we are watching in the news this war this invasion which is happening now, Russia attacking the Ukraine, and how it's tension in the world, not just there, in other parts of the world there was a war happening right now, and it's very sad, and we need to pray for the devotees, to the devotees have protected to this situation. There are so many devotees in Ukraine. They have so many festivals and many devotees. No? And there are the Ukrainians. They are so good devotees. They are everywhere. No? We have Ukrainians in Portugal. We have Ukrainians in Italy. We have Ukrainians in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and they are everywhere. They are very strong, huge, and they used to did beautiful harinams. It's very important to pray then to the protection of these devotees there. What will happen? What can we speak about it? Because we know that Ukraine is such a small country compared to Russia, and the army came and can devastate everything. But as we know, so many empires have happened in this world, so many wars, and again, it's the same old story. War, then war again, then one civilization start to raise up, as China now, then comes some war, and then come down again, then other civilization will raise up again, and then war, and again. So this is the nature of this material world. We can be in good situation right now because our birth, we need to be very grateful. It's very important to be very grateful that we have protection for the devotees, we have place to stay, a good place to sleep, good prasadam, good association, inspiring deities, inspiring devotees. And it's very important now. And And Guru Maharaj Radhanath Swami, he used to say that if you are ungrateful, it can be like huge stone blocks in our path of elevation, in our path on the stairs of elevation. And it's like a huge stone block blocking our understanding of the spiritual nature if you're not grateful. So every day we need to be very grateful, and pray that we are good situated right now. We have everything here that we need to be happy and to be at least not sad or at least introspective. This is very important. And we need to pray for them. And maybe they can travel and come here. How can we say what's happening now there? No? And we need leaders. We need leaders, Chatra leaders, who can protect the people, who can give some shelter for people. It's important, and we see that the Vaishnavas, more and more, they are becoming influential in the politician activities and administrative activities on the nations. Srila Prabhupada used to say, the ONU is organized union nations just like flags united, but actually they are not united. There are some interest, some personal interest. What is better for me is not better for you. So we need to understand this thing and pray to realize that everything starts for the origin of our problem which is the lack of consciousness, the lack of mercy. It's so important that Bhagavatam it's came to create a revolution on the society and to apply the 4 pillars of the Vedic civilization, which is mercy, mercifulness, purity, austerity, truthfulness. Without these 4 pillars, there's no peace in the world. There's no possibility. It will be just war. And we know that war came because of the everything starts on our false perception that we are these bodies, that we are Russian, Ukrainians, that we are Latin American, North American, Indian, that we are born in Christian family or Muslim family or in Jewish family, or that we have this gender or other gender. And everything starts for this perception, external designations, which creates our forgetfulness of our spiritual nature. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter 15, text 15, he says, Sarvashaschaham ridisani vishto, matas mriti argyanam pohanam cha, vidasa sarvayam eva vidyo, vidanta vikrit vidiva eva chaham. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I'm the knower of the Vedas. So Krishna is the Smriti, remembers. Krishna is Jnanam, knowledge, and Krishna is Apohanam, forgetfulness. So it depends of our desire, it depends of our intentions. Now, if you want to forget Krishna, Krishna can be the Apohanam, forgetfulness. If you want to remember Krishna, we are speaking of Krishna and speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam, cultivating spiritual knowledge. And for all the Vedas, the purpose to speak this is to just remember that Krishna is everything. And He is situated in our hearts, in the hearts of everyone, that's as the Supreme Soul, as Paramatma. So thank you very much. I'm very happy that I could speak these words for you here now. And please, dear devotees, if you would like to make some commentaries or some questions, if I be able to say something. Commentary, doubts, questions.
Please. You can wonder how such a big, powerful money and so old, how he is interested in starting again Grihastha life with a nice daughter's queen, young, everything, and how is it that he is not born of these things you already saw when he was young, all this cycle, youngsters. After some time you become normally bored of that. It doesn't interest you so much. But well, it seems not everybody is losing interest and start again the process.
Yeah. To apply the Varnashram Dharma.
We have seen also with this other Muni who was undergoing some austerities in the bottom of the ocean. And he saw some fishes enjoying, so he got also the idea of himself enjoying. And then he started to changed his mind. He married some 50 queen's daughter or thing, and he became bored after he was twice. And then I don't know, he doesn't get into austerities or like that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important to protect everyone. The children, the young generation. Everyone needs to be protected and encouraged to practice spiritual life and have opportunity to cultivate spiritual knowledge. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prabhu.
Welcome Revati and kids. Back to New Airport.
There you go. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi.